So I found this Reddit post. Let's see here. It says Trump reliably melts down under pressure. Um, and here's the thing. This is under the Reddit politics subreddit, and it says the midterms were a referendum on Don the con and he lost so badly he's depressed and in hiding. The federal criminal investigations into his alleged conspiracy with a hostile nation to steal the election are heating up, and the wave of Dem investigations into the corruption haven't even started. Okay, this is 3 hours ago from some asshole. Some dumbass. Okay, first of all, he has been under investigation the entirety of his presidency and even before with the Mueller probe. Okay, he has a special counsel investigating him, and they have been investigating him for 2 years. Dumbass. Okay, and then he goes to list a bunch of articles talking about, signs that Donald Trump is mentally deteriorating. 815 false claims. The staggering scale of Donald Trump's pre-midterm dishonesty. The midterm defeat has left Trump angry and withdrawn. Furious. Trump is not taking his midterm defeat all that well. Poll. Trump has little support for a re-election bid. Donald Trump retreating from duties into a cocoon of bitterness. Con man exposed. Trump's acting so erratic because midterms made him look like a loser. Trump's lashing out on Twitter and reportedly increasingly afraid the Mueller probe will indict his family. Indictment watch. White House tenses as Mueller prepares to break midterm silence. Okay. Here's the deal. If Mueller had anything on Donald Trump, okay, he would have played that card a long time ago. And in fact, he would have done it right before the midterm, the same way that the WikiLeaks came out right before the election, and the investigation by, what the hell is that guy's name? The FBI director? Comey. We are investigating the matter of Hillary Clinton's emails. And then this guy who posted all these articles, it's like he just doesn't know what he's talking about. So what I did is I went and I looked up. I thought to myself, well, how bad did he really do? So when the results first came out, I think he was only down like 26 seats. Okay, and then all this recounting and shit. Oh, we found votes over here, and now all these seats are flipping to Democrats, which, by the way, I think is total BS. That they shouldn't have been. I mean, don't get me wrong. The having a midterm recount, fine, right? I don't care. You want to recount? Recount the votes that were submitted, that were there. The day of the election, not this bullcrap. We're I think it's almost 2 weeks now since the election, and they're still doing recounts. This is nonsense. So anyways, here is the chart that it shows Trump, Obama, George Bush, Clinton, all the way back, and look at this. This is what I actually found very interesting, and I didn't realize the span and the scope of the Republican, or I should say the Democrat um, stronghold, because it looks like up until Ronald Reagan, he was the only one that actually was able to gain control of. Is that how I'm reading this? Um, yeah. So the only time. No, this they have this laid out very. They have it laid out weird, but Eisenhower's Republican Party lost 18 seats in the House. So yeah, it does show what they lost. Okay, so this is right. This is the way that I was reading it before. But it looks like up until Ronald Reagan was the only time that the Republicans gained anything. They gained the Senate in 1982, and then after that, Democrats came back full force. Which, by the way, this is, this was another tipping point in American history, where that was the year or around the time when we started sending all of our manufacturing jobs over to China and other developing nations so that we could profit from their cheap labor. This was when the massive corporate, engine that drives America today, kind of had its foothold in politics. So, you go back here. You got Ronald Reagan. He lost 5. George Bush lost 5 or lost 8. Lost 1 Senate seat, and he's got, he lost the House. He didn't have the House or the Senate on his side, which is probably why he fucking was. He was like, "Fuck it, let's just go to war." Oh no, that's George H.W. Bush. So George H.W. Bush, this was when they had like all the crazy street riots and shit, police brutality. I forget what the incident was. There was a national incident that happened that, basically, I think it was Los Angeles or something. There was like these crazy riots in California and all this stuff. And apparently it was a good enough distraction to vote in a bunch of Republicans. And then during Bill Clinton's terms in office, they had the House and the Senate. And then even into George... Oh, that's interesting. So Bill Clinton flipped the Houses and the Senate, and then when George Bush came in, he had a full Republican House and Senate, and then that's when we went to Iraq and Afghanistan. And then towards the end, obviously, we had 9/11, and then he lost a bunch of a bunch of seats in the House and a bunch of seats in the Senate. And then when Barack Obama came in, he lost the House by 63 seats. And he gained, or he kept the Senate, but he still lost 6 seats. And then you got Obama on his second term, who lost the House and the Senate to Republicans. And then now we have Donald Trump, who gained seats in the Senate and lost seats in the House. So even with the vice president tiebreaker, he's got like 54 votes. Now, if the past is any correlation to what's to come in the future, if Donald Trump manages to get this right, if he's able to set up before he leaves office his successor, which by the way I hope is Rand Paul. I pray that man runs for president. But if he can like set Rand Paul up with a Republican Senate and a Republican House, it's over. You got the dream team for 4 years minimum. But what I'm trying to say here is, looking at what this guy's posting, it's crap. It's like, it's literally a bunch of fake news. And, you know, I got all fired up about it because it's like, you didn't even look at the not only the history of the elections, but you have zero understanding of what the hell is really going on. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm kind of pissed off about the whole flip-flop of the recounts and everything, but that's out of my control. You know, they're gonna do what they're gonna do, and there's nothing that I can do about that. So we're just gonna go ahead. I'm gonna leave it at this. I just wanted to show you guys how the midterm elections have progressed, and how this was not a big loss for Donald Trump. Yeah, maybe he's upset that it wasn't a bigger win, but it's definitely not a loss, especially picking up 2 seats in the House or the Senate. And then there's another article that I found just by looking. I looked up, like I was looking up the midterm something or other, and then this showed up right here. Here's how Russia may have already hacked the 2018 election. Midterm elections. This was last month. And it's like, you know, they got this big red scary bear. It's like, can you be any more like propaganda? It's just ridiculous. This is supposedly, you know, like, this is from Politico. This is showing you the results of the 2018 election, but apparently they're still doing counts. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. So we shall see what the deal is with that. And then the other thing that kind of, you know, I guess you want to say triggered me a little bit was this. It says the Senate would have flipped to Democrats if people under 44 had voted. No one under 44, first of all. Now, maybe if they, you know, spent $130,000 or, you know, whatever it is for their liberal arts degree in some you know, college campus in California somewhere or abroad, but that is not going to flip the Senate, okay? Those people are idiots. There are a lot more smart Americans out there that did vote, and guess what? They didn't flip it. They didn't fucking flip it because the dumbasses with their liberal arts degrees who can't get jobs because there's no work for basket weavers, probably didn't go out and vote because of that reason. There is a big change coming. And there's two things that are going to happen. There's going to be, in my opinion, a crash, a market crash. Probably towards the end of this year, beginning of next year, sometime, I would think after Christmas. So after Christmas, it crashes, and you got Democrats in the House, Republicans in the Senate, and a Republican president. When it crashes, and I think it will, they're going to try to blame Trump. Trump is going to put together a stimulus package, right? And he's going to do it right this time, not the Obama shenanigans, because he was talking about $3 trillion stimulus package when he was first being elected. And if he gets that through, because they have to accept it in the House, if the market crashes and the Democrats don't put it through the House, guess who's going to get the blame? The Democrats. So everybody sees this as a loss. Oh, Donald Trump's stupid. He gave up all these seats in the House. It's not. It's very strategic, but it also seems like it's planned. And that's what scares me. I don't like when I think that they're planning to do something, especially when it means crashing the markets on purpose. So I don't know, man. It's just, we'll see what happens. I think with the Republicans in the Senate that, Donald Trump's going to be fine. And I think he's going to be fine for the rest of his presidency. Because you got to remember, this is only 2 years of Donald Trump. Imagine another 2 years. I don't even want to know. But I look forward to it every day. I'll see you guys in the next one.